Welcome back to your Thursday Good Morning KU. I'm Gabe.
And I'm Italo. Well, Gabe, the NFL draft wrapped up last Saturday. The first 10 or so picks were pretty much what many people expected, besides the 49ers picking Trey Lance.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was a surprise for everybody that he was picked over Mac Jones. I mean, last week I did say that the 49ers should take a different quarterback over Mac Jones, but I didn't think it actually happened.
Neither did I. It seemed like the top 3 picks were set before the draft even started. In my opinion, seeing Mac Jones drop all the way to 15th pick was even more surprising than the 49ers not picking him.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Now, you have to think, if Mac Jones lives up to the hype that he had going into the draft, will he be the next big quarterback for the Patriots? I mean, it's unfair to ask if he could live up to Tom Brady because he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. But could he be the next big thing for the Patriots? I think anything is possible, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens with Mac Jones in his career.
Yes, we will. Moving now to Puka Williams, he went undrafted, which is a pretty big surprise to me, regardless of the fact that he opted out last season. Williams opted out to sign as an undrafted free agent with the Cincinnati Bengals, and he seems to have the talent that many NFL teams are looking for. If he's given the chance to play, he'll definitely shine.
Definitely. It's always great to see former Jayhawks play at the next level. Speaking of somebody who will also shine, though, Trevor Lawrence just got drafted to the Jacksonville Jaguars, as we all anticipated. And like I said last week, this guy is electric. His craft went unmatched throughout his college career, and I really feel like it could carry over into his NFL career as well.
Yes, we are talking about a guy who is a decision maker and a natural leader who has shown the ability to start in clutch situations and big games. He will definitely be a key player for Jacksonville this upcoming season.
I believe that he has the potential and will be the next starting quarterback for the Jaguars, no doubt. Well, that's all that we have for your NFL draft recap. Before we go, who do you think got the best pick in the draft this year?
I will say Jacksonville just because they do need a starting quarterback, and I feel like Trevor Lawrence is the one key player that they're going to be needing next upcoming season.
Yeah.
What about you?
I kind of feel like Mac Jones on the Patriots, he dropped all the way to the 15th spot. And I know I trashed on him for being drafted earlier, but honestly, I still feel like he has the potential to be a really good quarterback. And as he dropped to the Patriots, he could be that next big thing. We just have to wait and see, like I said. But that does it all for today. After the break, we'll be back with Wesley Cudney and his final editorial.
For students searching for a way to stay active in an outdoorsy way, the City of Lawrence has bike trails running in every direction, and with the new bike share program, we can stay in shape as we tour the sights of our beautiful city. Clinton Lake is only a short 30-minute bike ride away from Daisy Hill and has the most incredible sunset location in all of Lawrence. Walking campus may give you the KU calves, but biking can give you the KU thighs. Bike Lawrence today.
Good morning. Today, we need to talk about enrollment and investment here at KU. This university has spent billions on new buildings to increase enrollment, especially the enrollment of high-rolling international students. KU called this investing in its future. KU claimed that if you take on debt to expand the campus, you would see a return in new students. But have we seen that increase? This is KU's enrollment since 2011. I don't know about you, but I have a suspicion this is not an upward trend. Even before the pandemic, enrollment was declining. In fact, 2016 was the year most of Gray Little's pet projects to increase enrollment were wrapping up. By that time, KU built Downs Hall, Self Hall, Oswald Hall, Capitol Federal, the Integrated Science Building, and rebuilt the Birds Union. 2016 was also when enrollment peaked in the last couple years. So how did KU pay for this investment? Well, it didn't. KU took on massive amounts of debt while increasing tuition. Don't let KU fool you. This budget crisis has been going on since the start of the new construction. My entire time at KU has been haunted by the specter of budget shortfall after budget shortfall, first under Provost Carl and now under Provost Barb. This is the price of tuition since 1971 for in-state students. And this is the price for out-of-state students. As tuition has been rising, enrollment has been declining. But of course, KU has a plan to increase enrollment again. That plan, of course, is more construction. KU announced plans to build a second integrated science building, presumably so we can have a second empty glass building on campus. KU also announced a new alumni center. A representative for the Alumni Center even said, and I quote, The reality is, if this project were not occurring, the dollars would not be available to solve budget challenges. But these projects don't bring dollars to campus. These projects don't bring students to campus, as the last couple years have shown you. If we don't start talking about the endless construction excused by the same lie for the past decade, we won't be able to afford to go to school in our own state anymore. After the break, we'll be back with Miranda and Jade, who will be graduating next week.
Why doesn't my skin look like theirs? Why is my nose so big? I'm never gonna look like those girls.
Hello and welcome back. We're here with our very own Jade Steffensmeier. She does the weather for this show. I'm sure you've seen her many times before. So we're just going to talk a little bit kind of about what you're going to be doing after college and your experiences here. So could you tell me a little bit about maybe a favorite memory of yours while you were here at KU?
Yes, so that one's pretty easy. I think it was sophomore year for me, like 2018, and it was a Halloween episode, and it was me and my friend Adrian. He's done the weather on this show too, and a lot of you have probably seen him, but we were on camera at the same time, and I thought it would be funny if I was the sun and I wore like a sun headband, and I wrapped myself in the green screen blanket, but I just ended up looking like the Statue of Liberty. I wish I could go back. I could probably find it, but it was so funny. I was laughing the entire time we were doing the weather, but I'll never forget that.
That's
definitely.
Funny. So COVID has been a pretty big part of your experience, as it has been for most of us the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
How has that made your school experience look a little different than maybe a senior 3 years ago?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, the biggest thing, it was very hard to find an internship, but I ended up getting one. But I think the biggest thing is like, we have a lot of senior celebrations, but yesterday it was like my last day of class, and so I just kind of like ended Zoom and was like, oh, I'm done with class forever. But I mean, I think the seniors have really made the most of just having everything through COVID, and I think KU's done the best it can to like make it feel more real in person. So.
I agree. They really had to work with it, but it's gotten better, I think, as the semesters have gone on. So,
yeah, absolutely.
As a senior, you're obviously moving on after KU. What are your plans looking like for after?
So I actually have a job in St. Joe. I'll be doing the weekend weather, and then I'll be MMJ on the weekdays. So I'm really excited about that. I already started doing part-time, and so once I graduate, I'll go full-time. But I'm excited to do both the reporting and the weather part of it because I really enjoy both. So I'm super excited about that.
That's super cool that you already have a job ready to go. I know that takes a lot of pressure off of seniors as they're coming out of school to kind of have that already set up.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much for being on our show this semester. I know we've all really appreciated getting to have some expertise. It's been cool to see like weather people write in person, so that's been fun. So thank you. Before we go to the break, we want to show you a news package produced by Lauren Ross, a student in journalism 488. She focused on the changes of the pandemic and the new normal it created. Please keep watching.
The coronavirus pandemic has changed the world and created a new normal filled with social distancing and virtual learning. Although society seems to be returning to some kind of normalcy, there's still a lot of uncertainty for graduating seniors. Due to COVID-19, the unemployment rates for college graduates is 11.5%, according to the Labor Department. That's almost double the overall unemployment rate of 6.7%. Hayley Fleisner is a graduating senior at North Dakota State University studying strategic communications. I sat down with her to hear her experience firsthand.
My dream job would be doing photography somewhere really cool, probably working in live music, and watching shows and being around people in their element.
Although Hayley has a job interview lined up with a company called Mammoth, she hasn't received anything in writing yet and is still worried about getting a job post-graduation.
You know, it hasn't been the easiest. I feel like it can be kind of tough since businesses still don't know if they're hiring or not. But yeah, it's been a little difficult.
Fleiser is not the only one who's experiencing these difficulties.
Carly Harris, a senior at Oakland University in Michigan, is experiencing something very similar.
Mental breakdowns, many of those to my parents. I guess the main thing I'm stressed about is because I was supposed to have an internship last summer, and that was supposed to get me a job for graduation, and now I feel kind of behind. But I also know everyone's in the same boat, so that kind of gives me some sort of peace of mind.
Due to COVID-19, Harris has moved back in with her parents to save money. And this is very common. A research study was done by the Pew Research Center that shows 52% of young adults ended up moving back in with their parents because of COVID-19.
The goal after graduation, no one wants to really be living at home with their parents. I want to move out, but financially it doesn't make a lot of sense right now.
For graduating seniors, moving home has also become popular because of the new virtual nature of the work world. However, Fleisner and Harris have some concerns about working remote.
I think that after a year of, having to be virtual and being on Zoom, it definitely gets tiring seeing home and work life combined in one space. I'd love if it was in person. If it was a hybrid, I could definitely do that, but I would love to be around people again.
So I want it to be in person, or maybe just the hybrid, sometimes go in person, sometimes online. Just because I want to obviously meet people and build relationships and connect with people to see if I really like the atmosphere of the company, because I just don't think you'll have that kind of feeling if you're working online.
All the way in Kansas, Alex Kispert, a senior at the University of Kansas, is also having a hard time finding a job and is worried about remote working after college.
Yeah, I'm sending probably 3 or 4 applications out a week, maybe more. It depends on my school load. I would prefer something in person. I had an in-person internship last summer where some of the people were remote, and I just found it easier to work as a team in person.
Not only is collaborative teamwork in job settings at an all-time low, but working from home has also blurred the boundaries between personal time and work time. Although none of the seniors I talked to have job offers on the table at the moment, they all remain extremely optimistic about their futures.
Kind of take it day by day and just remember that eventually everything will work out and COVID will hopefully be gone soon. So yeah, I think that's kind of what I try to remind myself every day.
But I'm hopeful. It's just Zoom interviews are weird, things like that, but it'll all work out the way it needs to in the end.
The demand right now is low for some things, but I think with everything sort of getting back by the fall or the end of the summer, I'll definitely sort of have at least something. Even if it's not exactly what I want, it'll be a start.
For Good Morning KU, this has been Lauren Ross.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome, I'm Shiyan.
And I'm Mara, and this is your Good Morning KU News Update.
Facebook's Independent Oversight Board upheld its decision on Wednesday from earlier this year to ban Donald Trump from its platforms. Trump said that what Facebook, Twitter, and Google have done is a total disgrace and an embarrassment to the country. Trump has used the announcement to start fundraising for his campaign through a committee called Save America. Facebook initially banned Trump from Instagram and Facebook the day after the January 6th Capitol attack.
KU's Housing is planning to lift the pandemic guest policy for on-campus housing residents, according to KU Director of Housing, Sarah Waters. Waters said that housing is most likely going to have mandatory COVID entry tests for housing residents that are not vaccinated, but they will not require residents to be vaccinated. 2020 fall started with a guest policy that limited students from visiting any housing buildings other than their own and from having guests that were not KU housing residents. Housing later eased up on their guest policies.
House Republican leaders are looking to remove Representative Liz Cheney of Wyoming from her leadership position. This move came after Cheney criticized Donald Trump and the election lies she believed he was promoting. New York Republican Representative Elise Stefanik is the current leading contender to take over Cheney's spot and has been publicly supported by people like Republican Steve Scalise of Louisiana. Cheney already survived a bid in February to remove her after she voted in favor of impeaching Trump.
Lance Leipold was hired as the new KU football head coach and is expected to pull in 7 of his Buffalo assistant coaches with him at Kansas. Interim head coach Emmett Jones led the Jayhawks through their spring season, and some are speculating he might stay on the Kansas staff, according to the Kansan. Coaches like offensive coordinator Mike DeBoard and defensive coordinator DJ Elliott are not expected to stay on Jayhawks staff, according to KUSports.com.
Derek Chauvin, former Minneapolis police officer, is calling for a new trial after being found guilty of the death of George Floyd, according to court document filed Tuesday by his attorney. Chauvin's attorney said the case was handled incorrectly, including abuse of discretion that deprived the defendant of a fair trial, prosecutorial and jury misconduct, errors of law at the trial, and a verdict that is contrary to law. The filing also said that the court failed to protect the jury from the publicity surrounding the trial.
According to the CDC, birth rates have dropped from the 6th consecutive year and are now in the lowest since 1979. The number of births in the U.S. declined last year by 4% from 2019, doubling the average of decline. The CDC said the birth rate is so low, more people are currently dying than being born in the U.S. The CDC did not directly attribute the drop to the pandemic, but some have concluded it is the reason for decline.
That is all for a news update. After a break, Jade will be back with the weather.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became pioneers, voyagers, champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed, Jayhawks are telling the world what's near. Victory.
Hi, welcome back to Good Morning KU. I'm Jade Steffensmeier with my last weather forecast for you. Before I get too sad, let's talk about the weather. It's cloudy outside right now, 53 degrees, and a little bit windy with winds from the north at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's a look outside on campus that I took earlier. Although this is a still image, you can see that the clouds are blowing in the breeze, so very windy and cloudy outside right now. And as we look at the satellite image, you can see the whole area of northeast Kansas is covered in clouds, but as we head into the afternoon, the sun will come out again, and we're going to be in the mid-60s for our high. Tonight we're going to have a low of 44 degrees. We're going to stay clear, and winds will switch from the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, another beautiful day with lots of sunshine, 66 for our high, winds from the southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and a very slight chance of rain in the afternoon, but I think that will probably stay dry for most of the day. That does change as we head into the weekend, however. We have a lot of rain coming our way. We have a high of 72 on Saturday and a high of 61 on Sunday, but that rain will continue off and on throughout the entire weekend. And for your extended forecast, so like I said, we have a beautiful day ahead tomorrow with rain headed our way for the weekend. We're going to start off the school week, finals week, with a few clouds Monday and Tuesday, but by the end of the week, we should see the sun again with temperatures in the 60s. But that's all we have for you today on Good Morning KU. This is our last episode of the semester, and this is my last episode ever. So thank you so much for watching, and thanks for a great 4 years.